nada quería hacer una pregunta para saber cómo es este público, si es un público que prefiere una conferencia en inglés. Tenemos una traductora con nosotros, Pisanya, pero queremos saber si puede hacer la conferencia con la presentación en inglés, en español, cómo andamos de lenguas, por así decirlo. ¿Español? Bueno, entonces vamos a hacer una doble presentación, por así decirlo. Bueno, antes de nada queríamos agradecer el sitio que nos ha acogido para estar aquí, que es una sala preciosa del área, que es uno de los apoyos principales de este año de lo que es la Comunidad de Madrid. De los apoyos que tenemos este año, tenemos apoyos del Ministerio de Cultura, tenemos apoyos de Acción Cultural de España, tenemos apoyos de Intermediar y tenemos apoyos del Instituto Francés, aparte de apoyos técnicos como puede ser Casio o NIO. Entonces, gracias a esos apoyos que por primera vez en las últimas 9 ediciones que va del festival estamos aquí. Ahora me voy a cortar ya porque si no, no va a ver.
Es que no sabía pensar.
No, esta parte no, esta parte no está tan...
The part of the division will be in both languages because there's people who doesn't speak Spanish, so we double the introduction. Mario is giving his greetings to the institutions who have been supporting the conference.
Y queremos plantear que este es un festival que lleva 9 ediciones trabajando, han sido 8 ediciones prácticamente independientes, sin ningún tipo de apoyo económico, y no por ello con la misma calidad en cuanto a calidad de trabajos, en cuanto a que estén trabajos relacionados todos con una convocatoria pública y con un jurado internacional. Entonces, este año la gran diferencia es que podemos pagar a los artistas, podemos traer a ponentes y podemos crear un marco de trabajo en el que profesionalizamos el trabajo de toda la gente que estamos aquí presentes. Y tenemos la suerte de poder contar en esta mesa con una serie de directores, de invitados especiales.
This is the 9th edition of Proyector, and this year's edition is due to the development the organization has been undergone. This year they have been able for the first time to pay the artists for the invitations, and now he is going to introduce all the participants that have been in this year's conference.
Como decía, tenemos la suerte de poder contar con una serie de colaboradores que van ya, con algunos de ellos 5 años trabajando juntos, y que en los últimos años hemos estado incluso haciendo unos encuentros, unas mesas redondas para hablar de nuestras propias problemáticas como directores de festivales.
So the people who are joining us, have been collaborators for a long time, and we have the pleasure to be able to discuss problematics or questions that surround the production of video and within the art market today.
Este es el tercer encuentro que hacemos nosotros juntos, como el primer encuentro que fue en Portugal, el segundo encuentro en Francia. Este es el tercer encuentro que hacemos estos componentes de esta mesa, o los festivales de esta mesa. No han sido otros directores, pero bueno, lo que son los festivales son los mismos que van en 3 encuentros que hacemos.
People who are sitting here together, it's the third time they actually meeting, and the same competition has been organized in France before.
Vamos a empezar a hacer una pequeña presentación de cada uno de ellos. Después ellos van a presentar mínimamente lo que son sus festivales y ya haremos una ronda de preguntas y de encuentros para discutir sobre nuestras diferencias, nuestras partes iguales y lo que creemos que tenemos que mejorar o empeorar sobre el video.
They introduce themselves and also talk about the festivals each of them are organizing in their specific locations, and at the end we're going to open a round of questions to discuss.
Voy a empezar por los invitados que tengo a mi izquierda. Está Nathalie George y Simón Dioset, que son los directores, el director y coordinadora del festival
Sorry. So if Mario will now introduce them to you. Simon and Natalie, who they present the Festival of ODAC.
Y solo mínimamente para presentarles, es un festival que lo que nos gusta de ellos, lo que nos tratamos de semejanza, es un festival que trabaja en espacios públicos y trabaja con el vídeo, no solamente con pantalla monocanal, sino con vídeo expandido.
What is special about the festival and what they actually very much appreciate is that it's a festival that is developed in the public space. So it's not only single channel projections, but like a very creative version of showing video art.
Después tenemos a Antonio da Cámara, que coordina, dirige el Festival Fuso de Lisboa, que también en esta semejanza es un festival que se realiza en los jardines de los museos de la ciudad de Lisboa durante una semana.
Antonio de la Cámara, who is presenting the festival Fuso, and it is also similar in the ways that they are developing the festival in the public gardens of the museums.
Y por último tengo en la mesa a Sergio Gómez, que junto a Luis Vieira dirigen los dos el festival Fonda, que es un festival también en Portugal, en el norte, en Coimbra y en Montego. Y
Sergio Gómez and José Vieira, who are developing the festival Fonda in Coimbra.
Sergio also coordinates Sergio también coordina un archivo de videoarte bastante potente de muchos años, un gran archivo de videoarte, y juntos crean este festival que también trabaja mucho en intervenciones en espacios públicos.
Sergio is also responsible for a very important archive of video art, and together they are the authors of the festival.
Creo que ya podemos empezar con cada uno de ellos, mientras ponemos su vídeo, que puedan ellos hacer una pequeña presentación de su propio festival.
fait comme si on ne les voyait pas, en s'appuyant justement sur la personne plateau. On va réavancer un petit peu, comme j'ai pris mon souffle.
This year it was the 6th edition of the festival. You have seen it takes place in a free city, in Rennes, in Britain, and also Nantes and Saint-Malo. It is during free weekend. So I repeat. This festival, it was the 6th edition.
El festival ha sido la sexta edición.
Sí. And you see it takes place in free city.
Esta se realiza en tres lugares diferentes, en tres ciudades diferentes.
During a free week, it's in Rennes, Nantes and Saint-Malo.
Durante 3 semanas en Rennes, en Nantes y en
Saint-Malo. It's like in Projector, we organize a UFC exhibition, screening of video art, live performance and meetings. I say we organize the festival, exhibition, video art screening, live performance and meetings.
O sea que es un festival muy complejo en el cual se desarrollan diferentes actividades que no contemplan solamente el videoarte, sino se extiende al ámbito del arte contemporáneo en general. Incluye performance y happenings y instalaciones.
In the team of FUDAC, we are two with Nathalie to coordinate the festival.
Junto a Nathalie son 2 personas las que coordinan todo el festival.
And there's the team who organize screening, exhibition, and other things. We are 6 persons.
Y en el team son 6 personas que organizan todas las exposiciones y las proyecciones.
Maybe the different with the other festival here.
Probablemente pero sean distintos a los otros festivales que están presentes aquí,
is that in our exhibition there is not only video art.
por el hecho de que en su festival no se incluye solamente el videoarte.
We also present sculpture, photography and other medium, but there's always a link with artistic main direction about moving image.
Bueno, pues eso, en este festival se incluyen incluso cosas tan complejas como la escritura, como el arte en sí, y trata sobre el ámbito de las imágenes en movimiento en general.
We call our festival not a video art festival, but we present nomadic and poetic images.
Can you say that again?
Nomadic and poetic images.
Este festival pues, no recibe el nombre de Festival de Vídeo, sino se llama Festival Poético y Normal, de imágenes nómadas.
Because for the screening, the beginning, we ask question about the name video art, because we also present sometimes video in pellicula. So for us it's not video art, it's experimental cinema. We ask us a lot of questions and prefer say nomadic and poetic images.
La expresión nómada y poética porque se incluyen todo tipo de cosas relacionadas con las imágenes en movimiento, porque incluye cosas como más como el cine experimental, no contemplamos solamente el videoarte.
Okay, what else? Well, there's a lot of meetings. We organize things in the public places. Maybe like all of us here.
Hay muchos encuentros y ellos sobre todo desarrollan el trabajo en lugares públicos, un poco en analogía a lo que se hace en Portugal.
It's the same thing than the other. There's an open call, and we make a program of the festival after that, and we also have a carte blanche with other festival.
Bueno, pues eso es similar en el sentido que se desarrolla en el espacio público, se marca como un recorrido y según, de acuerdo con ese recorrido, se diseña el espacio expositivo.
Another thing maybe here it could be very different with the other festival is that we work all along the year. We work all along the year, but not on the festival, on other events.
Sí, la diferencia con respecto a los otros festivales consiste en que ellos desarrollan el proyecto a lo largo de todo el año.
Maybe Natalie can speak about what we do all along the year.
Y Natalie os va a contar lo que hacen durante todo el año.
Okay, so all over the years we organize also a workshop with children or also with grown-up in different kind of spaces, libraries, schools, or cultural centers, because the team who creates UDAC is a team of artists. So,
bueno, lo que ellos hacen sobre todo durante todo el año es desarrollar talleres con niños y también con adultos en espacios como, por ejemplo, escuelas, bibliotecas. Es uno de los objetivos porque muchos de los participantes son sobre todo artistas.
And also we organize conference or screenings, for example with the cinema festival.
O sea, también organizan pues, conferencias y proyecciones en colaboración con instituciones como lo que sería la Cinemateca, ¿no?
because the festival, as Simon told you, is now, we are preparing the 7th edition.
Porque ahora mismo se encuentran desarrollando la 7ª edición.
So the organization of the festival is quite an habit now, and so it left us time to think about other kind of activity during the
La organización del festival se ha convertido ya en un hábito, para así decirlo, lo cual les deja tiempo para desarrollar otras actividades paralelas, pensar en ellas sobre todo.
To make the other kind of activity growing, it's also a way for us to continue the activity of UDEC, because if we just organize a festival, it will not be sufficient. You know, it's a way to transform the activity and to make it grow.
Es un deseo de algún modo, pues eso de extender las actividades, de desarrollarlas, ampliarlas, porque el festival, para decirlo, se queda como corto o limitado. Gracias a todos.
bebemos mucho y comemos mucho también. Entonces, can I speak in English without, you know, everybody understands? Or I can speak in Gallego, which we say Portugal. Maybe in English?
¿Estáis de acuerdo con que hable en inglés?
So, Fuso started in 8 years ago already, and with Irit Batsky, she's a very recognized artist in video art, and of course it was because of her, and this is the secret of Fuso, it's friendship. We started with the friends of Irit and with the friends of another friend that I have, Jean-François Chimay, that you saw here in the Odak Festival, because he used to direct the Contemporary Art Museum Berardo, which is a quite important museum in Lisbon. So we became friends, and I had a festival that puts together moving image and on stage, in stage, with and we had already this collaboration before, and we had the wish to take out the video art from the galleries and from the museums and show it in a big screen, in a single channel, and in a nomadic cinema. How's that? What is the word? Beach chairs. Beach chairs. Beach chairs. Hamacas. And because Jean-François was also the director of La Villette, and in the summer, La Villette has this open-air cinema, and we copied. So we were not original. The originality was to take up in Portugal the video art from the galleries and from the museums, and to show it on the cinema open air. And because we had this luck to have this guy is very important in the world of video, because I'm the smallest, the small one. And Edith, of course, she started to speak with Laurie Zipai. So Laurie Zipai, she's the head of electronic art techniques. They have the biggest archive in the world. Jean-François Chenier, he was also a quite big name in the world of art. So they deal with capitalism. So it was a little bit easy to call, for instance, Solange Farkas. Solange Farkas, she's the big name of video in Brazil. Through Jean-François, we started to deal with FRAC. So it was, we started to make a kind of family of these important names that became really, really friends. And this is a secret because we didn't have money. We started with 10,000 euros, but because we are financed by the Ministry of Culture to do the other festival that we have since 2004, Donde, which is a network with friends. It was quite easy to start because we had the space, because Jean-François was the director of the museum. We had the friends of Eric and Jean-François, so we had big names in the first edition, like Laurie and Solange and Eric, and of course the artists that was represented in the museum. And we started like this, so with a small amount of money, but with big names that were the friends, for free. Can you come? Can you pay? We started developing this. So in the very beginning, we had a big communication. This is very, very important to be recognized by the city hall, by a bank that now is closed, but in the bankrupt. It was easy with a very, very small amount of money. It was a little bit easy to start because we had this netting. This is a thing that I recommend you if you want to do a festival. It's better to have somebody big, somebody important, because I am not. But and like this, it's faster to put your name in the business. Okay, sorry. And now Fuzu is quite big about audience. It's a phenomenon because we have something like an average of 300 people each session, which is gigantic for us. And we do it in 5 days. We want to maintain 5 days only. And because we want we fabricate a kind of small family during these days, because the working day starts at 7 p.m. in my house. I don't have a big house, so everybody's there drinking wine, which is also a secret. And then we go to have dinner in the worst restaurant of Lisbon, which is also a secret because we make an effort to be nice. And then we start at 10, because it's open air and in Lisbon, but here I think tonight starts really, really late. And at 10 we start the first session, and at 11:30 the second. And we have an open call, which became very, very important to our artists, because it's only for Portuguese artists. And the jury is directed by a very wealthy company, which is responsible for our electricity. And they are completely within the culture. They have a gigantic collection, they have a museum. Since 3 days ago, they opened an incredible and gigantic contemporary art museum near the river. It's really beautiful and it's really gigantic, and they have quite a lot of money. And so the jury is directed by a curator of this EDP Foundation, with 4 elements for curators or professionals or artists. And it's quite important for our artists, because it's not only the work, it's not only money, but it's the acquisition of the work to the collection. And it's really an important collection in Portugal. So normally it's young artists that are in the open call. Well, it's not the case this year, because this year a very recognized artist was in the open call, and she was the winner. She got the prize. So Nuevas did the last image of the guy in the mountain with the black and white film. So for me it was a little bit strange, because normally because the award is 2,500 euros. It's not too much. But the most important is you are in the collection of EDP, and when you are an artist and a young artist, if you have a work already in this collection, it's a step very, very, very big to foster beginning of your artistic career. So this is the first day. It's 5 days, and the other 4 days, always with 2 sessions, we invite international curators or artists, but this year it was only curators. And each one has 50 minutes, 1 hour maximum, with a carte blanche. They can program whatever they want. And this year, for instance, we started with Vivian Ostrovsky. She's an artist and she's a curator from New York and Brazil. She's very, very committed into women artists, and she presented in Museu do Chiado, which so it's always in museums. And then we had another curator, Bruno Leitão, a Portuguese that lives in Madrid. And then we had Thierry Destrier that it's in Lille, okay. And Laura Zipai always, she's a kind of resident curator. So it's 7 sessions. Christine Bonache, that used to run the Centre Georges Pompidou. So artists, curators that in this network of friends, they go to Lisbon without fee. And for 5 days we live together in this kind of family. And yeah, that's it. So now, because we have a production company that I told you is supported by the government, we we have our salaries. So Fuzu has money from the city hall and from this EDP foundation, but we do it with 20,000 euros, with the award included. So it's quite a small budget, but because we have our company paid and we don't pay fees, we spend more money in the trips, in the hotels of the curators, and in the food, and the technique, of course. We rent a cinema that has to move every day, and then we have to put 300 chairs, and the screen, and the sound, and the projector, and every day we changed it, and this is quite heavy, but it's quite interesting, and it became very, very important to listen because, you know, it's really one of the only projects that can really acquire importance to young artists if they want to be in a recognized collection of video art. And I think we started to do it because EDP was more engaged with photography, and they started a little bit to give much more aware about moving image, and we feel happy that we not started, but we gave him more courage, and that's it. No. That's true.
It was okay in English? No? It was okay? I can continue speaking English without translation. Okay. I'm Sergio Gomes, I'm from VideoLab. VideoLab is an art association that have the PhoneLab Festival. VideoLab started in 2004, and PhoneLab started in 2005 outside VideoLab. And then a few years ago, we united two projects, the Festival PhoneLab and the VideoLab Association. Every time I speak of VideoLab, it's very difficult to, at the end, that I became satisfied from what I said. Because VideoLab is so many things, because every time we do something, the something that we do, it's to the result ending, it's to think about the next project. So when we do a session, when we do events, it's to think about what we have done, and then the next thing is really different. So we are a lot of things, and we can say that we work mainly with video, but we have performance, we have dance without video or with video. So it's very difficult to say what is the frontier of the video lab. And we start to, what we do is, we do less and less screenings and more what we call some events when the people came, and there are some video installations, and suddenly appears someone to dance in the middle, and then at the end there is a performance, and then there is another thing. So it's not, it's like a whole thing, you know. It's like an experience that you have when you go to our events. It's not just this, but this is mainly what we search for. And what we search for all the different places. So the places that we don't like is the rooms with the screen and things like that. Sometimes we use it too, but normally it's not that. It's buildings that is abandoned, it's bars and bathrooms. We made video sessions for bathrooms, we made video sessions for children of installations for children of 3 or 4 years old. We work with old people, and we work with different poets and in different situations. What we like, if someone told us to, you have this room and you have to project something and you have to make some videos, probably our videos are going to put in the chairs, not in the screen, or in the speaker, or in another place. So, to us, the video, it's the method that we use to produce something. So, sometimes we do the videos, we shoot the videos because we want some specific videos, and another times we use the videos from other artists. And we talk to the artists and we explain what we are going to do, and if the artists disagree what we are doing, okay, we don't use, but most of the time the artists like a lot what we do with the videos. We believe it's a kind of work that it's not very, sometimes we are, how to explain, it's not dangerous, but it is a little risky to work this way, because there are things that work and things that doesn't work. But to us it's okay, because if it doesn't work, we learn something, and then next time we have to change the things. So for us, we work a lot in the street too, so we like a lot to go the public that doesn't come to us, and we are going to the public, and the public is the people that passes in the street. We can use some montage. Sim, in that places. So, and this is the work that we do with VIDEOARTE, and the film lab. It's more or less this thing, and José, I'm going to talk more about the festival of film.
I'm going to talk also in English. I'm José Vieira, and I'm the director with Sergio Gomes of the Art Festival. Art Festival appears in 2005 as a kind of a project of my own, kind of an art project that I began as a digital project. This project is the main thing for me to understand digital art. In 2005, in Portugal, we don't have so many information about digital art, and I start to connect with artists and other curators and other festivals to learn about digital art. That's the main thing of the FONAD. FONAD means Festival Online of Digital Art. So, in the first beginning, we do a kind of exhibition of photography with 2 or 3 videos. The video in the beginning had great expression in the festival, and in 2009 I began because also since that exploration that in the study I have done about digital art, I met a guy called Agrícola de Colón that was a great curator and a great artist on the digital world, and specifically on video art. And talking a lot with him, I began to interest about video art, and I started to put on the festival video art. In the beginning, I do this festival alone. I have another association than Video Lab, and behind for give me the opportunity to have some sponsors and some money to do the festival. And but I do it alone. I don't have a team to work with me. I have to do everything by myself. So one day I received an email from an artist of Moscow that works that applied to the festival, and she told me in the email that she's gonna present the video in Coimbra. And I said to myself, wow, there is another guys doing the same thing that I do in Coimbra. Then I go to this show and I meet Sergio, and immediately from that point Sergio has been invited in this moment. He's a co-curator of the festival with me. Of course, the joining forces start to change the festival. The main idea that I have for this project start to getting a kind of expression by himself. And so we start to do screenings, and we start to doing installations in open spaces and in the abandoned places, abandoned houses, spaces that don't have been used for this kind of things. And after a while, we start also to use performance in our shows. And why performance? Because in the beginning, when we do a screening, we don't have so many people to see the screen. So we decided to put some performance at the end of the screening to attract more people. And this way, the performance enter in the festival. And enter in the festival and change the festival completely. And this moment, the festival is a video art and performance festival, because we want to connect the performance with video art. And also other techniques used in video art, like interactive and connected with other kinds of expression, not just performance, but also contemporary dance and other expressions like moving happenings with the public and etc. The idea of the festival at this point, in this moment, we're going to start. We are now planning the 3rd edition for 2017, and we want to do each year. We want to do something different. We don't like to repeat the same things that we have done in the past. We are always trying to improve and inventing something different for the next for the next year. And so, and each year we are always looking for new spaces, new people, new friendships, and new partners. Because of that study I have done on the beginning, we have connections with many festivals, more than 30 festivals that collaborate with us. And each year we are trying also to get another partnerships. So there are some partnerships that stay along. For example, with Projector, I think it's the 5th time that we collaborate. With ODAC, it was the first time. But we are always trying to connect with other festivals, with other institutions, with other partners. We are always improving and changing the things that we do. So for the next year, the festival is going to approach a little bit more of the concept of VIDEOARTE, because for the next year there will be just one curator of the festival, that will be Sergio Gomes. I will be retired a little bit from the festival. Of course, I will be on the connection of especially with the connections of the international festivals, because of my story. But I think also that the festival must evolve and must be not limited just for the one idea that one person has. And so with our discussions, because we discuss a lot, because we don't think in the same way, so I have think in the festival during so many years, so I'm going to rest a little bit, and I'll leave to Sergio the work to do the next festival. And also we have also an idea that the selection of the artists, for example, each year we change the jury. In the beginning I do the selections, I choose the artists, and so this is wrong, because I have one idea that what I want for the festival, and if I invite other artists, other festivals to do the curating with me, the idea of the festival wide open and explained and evolved. That's the main idea. We want always to be evolving, so we are always changing the persons that do the curating of the festival. So, and of course we do special projects in open spaces. It's the main thing that we like more, and also to connect, try to connect this kind of installations with the performance, and year after year this connection becomes stronger and stronger, and it became kind of one large event. We do the festival. We don't do that kind of festival during 3 days, okay, and stops, and we don't hear about it just for the next year. What we do several events during the year. Of course, we concentrate these events in Coimbra and another town near Coimbra, it's Montemoro Velho, that we do in 1 month, each 4 events in each weekend. But for the next year, we're going to try to change this, and we're going to try, because we have done it last year, a kind of event of 2 days with several events occurring one after another, with performance, installation, and public surround, a kind of same thing with projector, and people go around and visit the city, and in this way also we go everyone together, and we do kind of circuit to the rooms and the shows during 2 days. So that's the thing that we're going to try to do for the next year, kind of 2 or 3 days. We don't have yet decided if we're going to do 2 or 3 days compact, because of one thing that is important for us. We do also residencies in the festival. And what is this kind of residencies? The residencies is we don't have money. We do the things with the support of the institutions that support us. And the artists come freely and stay at my house. I receive the artists. Or if they are, sometimes one festival, I have been sleeping in my house more than 10 people on the floors, and but the main thing of the festival, and for me the best thing of the festival is to connect with people, is to meet Simon, to meet Paulo, to meet I have for you to see the thing that is really important is this. Said Mario, I have known Mario for 5 years, I think, and I have participated in a production of another festival, this kind of interaction with people, with artists, curators, and
video art. It's always a problem of people, how to find people to go to the exhibition, how to find the way that people could understand, could have a nice day seeing video art, understand, thinking, and these kind of things we have to speak about a lot of time. And in this case, more or less, all of them, there's Antonio, they make more things. Not only video art, they also make video installation, they performance, they make video dance, they make things to join video art. So the people will be more easy for the people to be there, to be part of the festival. But I want to we also speak before how to find money, how we work, because more or less all the festivals that we are here, all of the festivals that they are in the world, not the big ones, the normal ones, we are festivals that we don't have money. We have very few money, more or less all of us, we don't have a salary for our work. We work because we love it. Why we do this?
Why I do this? Because I love it. And I think I explained, I do this because I like to be with people, to connect with people. And it's amazing when you start talking with some person and you explain your ideas, and the other people, hey, yeah, I thought about that, and this connection, this kind of connection. It's why I am here. I'm here because I like to connect with people, to talk with them, to discuss these kind of things with people, because these kind of things are difficult to discuss with people. Of course, I'm here talking with you, but I don't know you. For me, you are strange people. And yeah, but probably at this point you know me better than I know you. So for me, I am completely, how I say, I like to jump. I like to jump and to be with you. I don't like to be here. We have discussed a lot this kind of situations, and I don't like to be on a stage. I am a man, I do performance, and I have been in the stage also. But I am a man from the backstage. And as a man of the backstage, I like to be with the public. I like to watch, and I like to connect also with the public. And that's why the first encounter that we have done in Coimbra, in Coimbra we don't do this talk like this. We are joining the public, and the public was mainly face-to-face with us, like this way. The public is next to me, and we talk with the public, and the public said to us what they think that could be a festival also, and what they think about the public on the festivals, why they don't go, why, because this is the question. I think for me it's more important to know why you public don't come to the shows than for me to ask myself why the public don't come. Of course I could imagine some reasons, but the answer is on the public. For me, it's very clear. So I will make a challenge to put the questions asked to the public. Not to make I'm revolving all the things that we have combined. I think I am a little bit provocative, but I think more than we ask the question, we put the questions to ourselves. We must ask the public the question that we have, put to them the question. That's my. Okay. Why you do
Well, why do we do this? Well, first, I think there is this kind of commitment with your life. My school is cinema. I did film school. So, of course, there is already a kind of a big connection with this language. Then I started to make dance, and I had a lover which was a contemporary choreographer. So I've started to connect it with contemporary dance and films. So and then we get refined, and of course we achieved this kind of language. So since I'm in this kind of business since 25 years ago, I started to make films and then dance and video. So I think it's a professional need. I'm not an artist, thank you, but it's a professional need about your being, But of course you have to be paid. Otherwise we quit.
video artist and I work with Kodak. It's my main activity, my job. So at the beginning, when we start Kodak, it's difficult to be paid for that, but it was the main question. We have to be paid to do that, so we try to find a solution. And year after year, that's why Italy say that now we develop a lot of activities during the year, and we sell a video program, workshop, etc. And everything is paid. And now Natalie is paid for work during the year. And for us, it's the main question to do work for hotel for me is a big work. So yeah, we arrive every time to do work for that. For me, it's my work. And my work as video artist is another thing. It's not the same problem. But with that, it's a real work.
To me, I make this because it's important. And it's important from the beginning. Because to me, to find the art, the video, it was a click. It was something that, one day together, changed my life. At one point, something happened, and I had a job and all fixed, and suddenly, in the other day, I said, I quit my job, I'm going to start some video, some cinema, because this is important. This is important. It was important to me, and I think if it is important to me, maybe it is important to other people. So, that's when VIDEOARTE started. Because to me, the moving images actually are the most important way to communicate with people. So, to me, the main goal is to fix the problem that the mainstream cinema and the television have created in the mind of the people. So, to me, that's very, very, very dangerous. Because maybe half of the problems of the world solved if the people stop thinking like that. So thinking the way the moving images that, to me, it's bad, reach the people, you know? So, to me, the video art, it's not just video art because we like to put the video in the bathrooms, maybe in the butchery, maybe on the streets. And that is one goal, that to people be confronted with a different imagery that is not the TV language or mainstream cinema. You know, to me, it was important to me at the beginning, and it is important to me now. So it's not just I like it, it's pleasant. It's it's kind of like a mission that we have to do. It was one thing that changed my life and changed my life for better, and I believe that can do that too, because I'm talking with a lot of people in these years, and I see some people's changing lives through the images. Because when I see a real image, a real film, or a real video art project that really touches me, I think, okay, this is it. It's like epiphany, but it's momentary, because it's when I watch the movie and a few hours later the other things on the life came, so I forget about it. But that's why, because the moving images, the good moving images, the video art or cinema, is the things that maybe keep me balanced, or maybe keep me on the place where I want to be. You know, so it's not a simple thing. To me, it's really important. do this.
No, we are speaking about production of festivals of video art. When I see Mali with a flag and 10 places and 300 artists presented in incredible places, this is, for me it's an example of this mission, which is sacrifice and love, and this is the biggest example that I know. It's Mali. Why?
Probably because I need to express, to say, to offer the people the possibility to find something that for me is very important. When I saw some piece, I feel very, well, this is something that could change my life. I love that, try to invite people that they have an incredible piece of art and they have incredible possibilities to serve and could change the people's life. So probably for me I am very fantastic, but I think that art could change the people. So if we offer art, we can offer new lives. So probably this is why I do this, like an artist and like a director of festival. And this question I want to ask you, why you are here? If someone wants to join us, you can answer in Spain, we have a person that can translate. Why you are in a festival of video art, why you come here this morning, Saturday in the morning, after a party yesterday, or join us the last 3 days or the last 9 years, and I want to know why.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Silvia González, vengo de Costa Rica y la pregunta dirigida a todos es ¿cuáles son los principales aspectos a considerar en la realización de un festival?
Which are the questions for each of you, which are the principal or the major clues to take into account to organize a festival?
Sorry, one moment. Can we stop this question to the last part of the... and I want to ask you why you are here. No what you want to say to them, why you are here.
Estoy aquí precisamente porque me interesa ese aspecto.
She's here because she's exactly interested in this aspect she was asking about.
Si nos importa, vamos a congelar un momento esto y si alguien quiere responder a la pregunta de por qué está aquí y dejamos esa pregunta para una ronda de preguntas luego al final, yo lo agradecería si no te importa, Irene. ¿Alguien quiere...?
Hello, I'm Tsuka. I work as a professional on film festivals and our ceremonies. I'm interested in audio production, and I came here just because I want to know more about how to produce, how to found a video art festival, which you are just saying that it's because yes, you love art. I'm an artist also, so I'm interested.
Thank you. Elena, we will answer you later. Sorry. I want to continue a little speaking about, okay, we are more or less festivals that we work in museums, we work in independent space, we work in the street, we make other things, intervention, and I was thinking that more or less all of us, we don't make video art for money, and we don't sell video art, we don't be in the market for video art. And it's very funny because in the afternoon at 4, we will have a round meeting speaking about distribution, how to sell, what is the price. I went several times to look in Barcelona, Fair of Art, and they sell a lot of videos that the money are 10,000 100,000 euros. We are here for other things, and we are making things that they are not in the market. This for me is very interesting that we are interested in the market. We are not interested. What do you think about the market of video art in this case?
Thank you. I just would like to make an observation about what you have said. We are not, as UDAC, we are not selling video art, but what we are selling is events. To produce a festival, of course, you have to get grants or find some ways to pay, because we are paying artists fees, not very big fees, but every artist who comes to the festival get a fee every year. So we have to collaborate with structures like museum in Rennes, as you see when you came there, or other places who can allow to pay for an event. So it's a way for us to produce our manifestations. And
we sell event and we sell a video program. So we sell video art, but the video program and the work of programmation. And we have an edition. Each year we produce a DVD edition, the best of screening of the festival, and we sell this edition. So we sell video art, but it's not the same market of art. And when we present video, we buy videos, but we rent video. And sometimes there's a distributor. Some artists have gallery and we buy a video to the gallery. So it's not maybe the high level of the market, but I have my own opinion about the market of video art. But we sell or buy video art.
To us, it's not really concerned. It's not something that we think a lot, but maybe we can talk about it. But it's not one thing. It's not our goal to sell, maybe to have sell an event, that we produce an event with the works of video art, but not distribute or to make them. For now.
No, we are not commercial also, but we provoke encounters. So we deal also with this kind of meetings. Of course, there is always money in here, not directed with us, but because it's curators and collectors and artists, and the public is also some responsible for museums or collections or agencies, and of course we provoke encounters, and it's always there.
Hello, I'm a video artist and I started in 1981, so I'm a dinosaur. And I'll speak a little bit about the experience of the question from the artist side. So there was a shift in which, in the end of the 1890s, there was a non-profit distribution. I had, let's say, 3 or 4 distributors. The videos were rented out. Whenever a video was shown in a festival, a museum, and so on, there was a small artist fee, but there was a fee. And just to give an idea, because we're speaking about the economics here, for example, from one distributor, which is Alex Keys, a French distributor, I was getting something like 3,000 euros a year just from screening. And then Arte, television, cultural television in France, bought the work, screened the work, co-produced the work. This doesn't exist anymore. Arte is still there, but they don't support this kind of experimentation anymore. It became more mainstream. People got used to see videos for free. YouTube, Vimeo, free download, we all do that. So the thing has shifted completely. There's no more money for artists from non-profit distribution. And the parallel, which is the art market, that in the 90s were not at all interested in video art, they would not even turn off the light in the gallery, now is interested in a very small part of video art. And the small part is, if the artist is recognized by the art market, not by the video art world, but by the art market, then it becomes a commodity, and then you can sell limited edition. That the other thing is that when video art started, 80s, 90s, late 70s, the idea of video art was against the commodity. Was, to be a commodity was an insult to a video artist, and to do a limited edition was against the idea of a democratic medium that can be propagated. All the early video artists never did editions. The idea was a democratic medium. And the democratic media continues on the network, but there's no return for artists. The artist doesn't get this kind of economy has shifted things in that even the small amount of money, a couple of €1,000 a year that you could make from fees, you can't make anymore. So there's a polarization between, very, very few artists that can be sold by galleries because they are branded, and a lot of artists, many more than before, because before you had to have an editing room, you had to pay for the editing, you had to pay for the camera. Now, but a lot of more people do work, but very few can live from this, or can partially live from this. So just a little experience from over 30 years of video art.
Thank you, Judith. Anyone want to say something more?
You are aware how the market of video art works, with this limited editions, everybody knows how to, yes, everybody. Okay, and that's why the prices are, like Mario said, 100,000 euros, one video. Now it's not, no. The maximum money it was last year in loops, this year it was something like 45, no? And limited editions means you do for. Eric can explain it more because it's an architecture, it's limited editions.
The art, and usually connected with a gallery, define, like photography in the fine art market, that there will be 3 copies of the work, usually with an artist proof, 1 or 2, or 5 plus 1 or 2. And nobody has the right to make more copies. The copies are sold to either private collectors, which are few, or institutions, museums.
Only these 3?
Museum. So, if, for example, the edition is 3 plus 1. One was sold to Diana Sofia, the other one was sold to Centre Pompidou, the other one was sold to the MoMA, and the artist proof was sold to a private collector. There's no more right to produce more, even though there's no real reason, because the work is reproducible, it's the same quality, it's not a reproduction, but there's no more right to sell more work. However, the way that artists work around it in terms of distribution is, if I keep my artist proof, I keep one copy, I don't sell it, I can then lend it to exhibition anywhere I want. So as an artist, if you go that way, it's very important to keep one artist proof, not to sell it. And this way you're the owner of one copy of the work that you can then lend to Mario for free because he doesn't have money to show it, or lend to another important because you have a museum show. You still own part of the work. And the selling is not really selling of the actual work. What you're selling is rights. You divide the right to the work to 4, and then one museum has the rights, the other museum has the right, and if you keep an artist proof, you keep the right to show the work, but not to sell it anymore.
So if you have a copy, it's really a copy, it's 0.
Yeah, well, hello, I'm Gerald from PROYECTOR, and I was thinking, you know, about this relation that, because yes, as Mario said before, we as PROYECTOR, we had begun to think about, well, our relation with this problem, with this subject of how to sell video, or what is to sell video, or what is to earn money with your work as video artist more than how to sell video, right? And I was thinking, when you guys said that Mario asked you, okay, why are we doing this? And all of you said, well, I have a lot of passion on this, so that's why I'm doing this. So, of course, that the first point here, me also, the first point is that we are passionate about video, right? And we have passion about what are we doing here. And also when you're talking about the essence of video art, the aim, you also are talking a kind of passion on there. I mean, from the point of view of the artist, right? There's something there that it's that's the first movement comes from there, we can say something about creating an experience, and something very important that is something like, okay, I'm making art and I'm making culture because I really like it, and I think I have to share this, and I think it's important what I'm doing for society and for everyone around me and for myself. So this is the first point, but at some point, of course, when you begin to work and when you begin to create a team and when you begin to get involved with institutions and with other artists, at some point, of course, the other question, there's another question coming up, that is, how can I make it? How can I support this? And at this point, it comes money, that's the question also, of course. And for us, always when we think about how to keep this passion going on, we think about it as artists and as cultural managers, both, because we are both things. So, of course, that one of the policies of PROYECTOR is to pay fees to the artists every time that we can. Every time that we have money, we pay some fees. I mean, we think it's fair because we will like to be paid the same way when we present our own work everywhere else. I mean, if we can get a few euros in order to show our own work, we will have maybe, as you said before, some euros at the end of the year for our work, and that's worth it, right? So we want to pay for the artists too. But at some point also we began to think, okay, because that's something that we make, that's something that is real now, but at some point also we would like to not to well, the aim of a festival is to create a space, to create an experience. It's not to sell art, because if not, you are a gallery. I mean, the aim of a gallery is to sell art. But at some point also we were thinking, okay, maybe you have to link also this passion with that other work, which is the market, and maybe also to bring the artists other opportunities from their work. What I'm trying to say is that anyway, it's always difficult because for us it's always difficult. It's an open question right now. That's why also we are all here, right? It's an open question. It's not, okay, what should we do? We were thinking of, yes, for sure that from Redonda we were thinking about bringing the opportunity to the artists to sell their own work through our festival, for example. That's something that we are working now on this. We think that maybe for them it's an opportunity to give them that, you know. And also, but also there's this question there, because it's true that the video is something that it's really difficult to sell in a way that is not his essence, and right now is connected to the YouTube phenomenon and other things that make...
It's not difficult to sell.
Well,
otherwise, for instance, Loops doesn't exist. You know, each gallery pays 4,000 euros to be there. You know, it's money. There is a market.
No, I'm saying that, yeah, I know that there's a market. That's why also we bring the question up. But what I said that in general, as she said before, you have a few artists. Well, that's the artistic market. They are markets like that. You have a few artists on that market, and you have a lot of artists around. That I think that for them it's more easy to get the space in projects like us, you know, on festivals, right? So you have these two worlds. It's not that there's not a market for video, for sure. It's just that it's limited, and yeah.
Yeah, there's also a new model that I don't know if it will survive, which is the pay-for-view. A platform like Vimeo started saying like each person that views pay a little bit. You know, you pay 2 euros to view. And that will work if there's enough people viewing. So this is a completely, you know, the opposite. There are like two really opposing models, which is one that works on rarity. It's very rare, it's very limited, and that's why it costs 50,000. And the other one works on as wide distribution as you can get. So it's open, it's very low, you know, the fee is like iTunes. You pay one euro, but for this model to work, you need to have many people participating. So the question is if the generation that grows up with this will pay 1 or 2 euros to watch video art, or if video art is already too much and they just want, like, you know, 1 second images.
I disagree with most of the statements that have been said here. I think a festival exists to promote art, not to sell art. I think the festivals must have conditions, this is important, to help the artists to produce another work. Because the main thing of the festival is to, okay, the festivals exist. Why does exist festivals? Festivals exist for promote art, for show art, show the work of the artists, but also to help the artists, to stimulate the artists to produce another work, to produce more works. I think this is my own position, a festival does not exist to sell art. To sell art, there is a market, there is galleries, and so I think if an artist wants to sell his work, must do the correct channels to do that. So if he applies to a festival, it's not to sell art, it's to promote his work. That's my position.
I have a question. For a video art piece to be screening in a festival, does it increase the value on the market, or it doesn't matter, or it goes bad for selling later? If you have your own copy, you can distribute it, don't you? You have said before, if you keep one of the copies of your work, you can show in different festivals. If you have to sell the other 3 copies, for example, to be screening in that kind of festival, does make anything with the value, or?
But that's the people of the market. That's the idea which afternoon, I think the people that come are more connected to the market.
I'm going to ask a question. You were saying that another way for doing, no, for offer a nice festival is giving offers to the artist. No? Which offers? Which one way is giving money, and what other things can we do to offer the artist a good place for thinking, for sharing experience, for speaking about what do they need? This is my question.
Well, what we offer to the artists, in first place, when the artist applies to the festival, he must accept the conditions of the festival, and the conditions of the festival is that we could promote his work not only on that edition of the festival, but also in other editions and also in other festivals. So this way, the work of the artist could be shown in other places and in the whole world, because we have connections, and the videos that, for example, the videos that are streaming here in Madrid, for the next week will be in Belo Horizonte in Brazil. So we spread the work of the artist. That's the main thing of the primary thing of the festival is to spread, to show the work of the artist around the world, wherever we can. The other part is to help to stimulate the production of new works for the artist. In this way, we have a program of residencies where the artist applies with a project, and we could accept or not the project, and then we help the artist to do the work. When we have more or less money, this is another problem. Problem of the financing of the festivals. When we have money, we could pay expenses of the artist, we could help the production, and after we could show the work that he's done in the festival, in other festivals. Of course, it depends also on the financing you have and to produce the work. And most of the time what we do, because we don't have too much money, because the support we have is from the spaces that help us to do our festival. So the artists have said that they stay at my home, and what we do, we help if we have conditions. That's the main thing. When we approve a residency project, that's because we have conditions to produce the work that the artists propose to us. So, and this way, we help the artists to produce another work, and mostly of the time we provoke the artist. One example, we have an artist, a video artist, that come to the residency to do a video, just a video that she has in her head. When she arrives, I put this artist in connection with a performance girl, and at the end of the residency, the artists that come to the festival to do a video artwork do a performance, not video art. So we like to stimulate also exchanging and provoking the artist to explore other things and to expand his own concept. For example, another example, one artist from the United States comes to the festival also proposed to do a video about Coimbra, but that is not a situation that we liked a lot. So we propose him to do a kind of installation, and he do a thing that he never done. He had done 3-channel installation. So he was amazing with that because he never experienced one thing like that. So that's the thing we like to do. We like to offer and propose to the artist challenges to expand his own work in different contexts. That's, I think, for me, that's our mission with the festival.
I try to say something. It's about money. I'm not against free things. I think you can be paid because you continue your work, your feeling about your work and things like that. But sometimes it is a good thing to speak about to be paid for the things. And all the events we organize, we try to speak with the public and say, okay, it's free, like here. I think you don't pay to enter here, but you learn something, and it's a kind of professional, like a study professional, but it's free. And sometimes I'm quite against the free things and the consummation of free culture. There's no money, there's the market of the art and a lot of money, but another part, all the things is free and it's normal. And for me, when you go to a concert, you pay for a concert, sometimes a little, but the musicians are here and they play, they work, and with artistic thing, it could be the same, but sometimes it's more difficult to propose that. And after years and years with the public in Rennes, we try to think other meaning of selling things. In the event, we sell, we organize like you, some big meal, and people pay for a big brunch, and after that there's the artist, and they pay because we are used to pay to eat, we need to eat, but not to see video art, and it's difficult to say to people, oh, you have to pay to see video art. They want to pay to see a movie because they know this movie, but for video art it's impossible. But they can pay for to hit with artists and speak with artists and see video art. So well, we try to find a lot of solution, and you speak about VOD on internet to pay to see video. And it's interesting to see this market and people people sell to see video art, but sometimes it's difficult to say people you have to pay to see video art because it's an experimental thing, you don't know the artist, and it's kind of utopia. But for us, we try to sell, because the video is very democratic things, because they are video on the internet, and the public place, there are some screen, the bar, there are some screen, and we try to sell some program and video, but not an object, a presentation right, to private things like bar, like library, there's new mediatek. Mediatek with a lot of screen. And try to propose them, okay, stop the advertising on your screen and propose video art. You can mix the two things, but we can try to sell video art to this sort. Not the market, not the public, but where you can find video. It's not the art market, but more cultural center, things
like that. To me, it's not a real concern to sell videos and all things. The way we work, it's not that situation. It's not a question for me right now. But since we are talking about money, and since we are doing events, I think the way that the best way to have money and to keep doing works, it's to not waiting that the people can to you, but go to the people and going to the needs of your city, of the place where you are. So, we live in Coimbra, and Coimbra has a specific situation. It's different from town to town. And there are cultural things and traditional things and the culture of all the city. And then, if we do one screening in one room and call it video art, it's the best international video art screening of all times, a few people came. So Coimbra has 250 million people, so it's not a lot. So. But we, since the experience we have from the beginning, we have made things in the summer festival. It calls Pinhal das Artes. It was a festival to children from 0 to 5 years. So it's an art festival with it's the main thing is music, because the guys we are behind that it's music, but theater and other things. And we have been there 3 years and making video art to the children. So we put a tent in the middle of the woods. And there was the children came in and they pull some strings, and the strings activate some videos, and then someone talked to him in the video, and it's an amazing experience to see that the children with 3 years old doesn't know that a video it's not a person, so they talk to the person. The person say, oh, hello, what's your name? And some children say the name and things. But the children with 4 years old, they already know that it's a video, so that they don't answer the question. So what I'm saying is, once you know the needs of your city, you know, but you can catch the people. The first thing is that the people have time. So we know that all of us are very stressed with a lot of things, so they don't bother about video art, but the children and the elderly people, I think it's because I believe so much in these people, because the experience we have made in another tent when they made a secret, children, and then see some videos video art, poor video art, and the children, with the 4 or 5, they stay there watching the videos a lot of time, and the fathers of the children going, okay, let's see another thing, a theater or something like that, and the children want to stay there. And some children come back later, and the fathers are very bored about that strange videos, and the children are very open to see video art. And I believe that what we are going to do the next year, we have a project with elderly people, who is a senior university, you know, to make workshops of video art, to produce video art with them. They have time, they have an open mind. So what I'm saying is, if you know the needs of your city, and if you know, and you can go to the instance, the mayor or the arts things, and say, I have one project that goes to the needs of the city. So you can do, for example, in Coimbra we have every 4 years a big festival. The part is Queen Saint Elizabeth, it's the honor of the city and all the things, all traditional things. So if you go to the city hall and say, for the next year we have a big project with this saint, so we want room, maybe we can get to the people, because we are making, we are feeling that one need that maybe they have, maybe the city have. So you in the middle of all of the traditional things, maybe there is some video art in the middle. So that's, I think that educates people, and the people start to watch and to see that the video or the moving images, it's not just cinema or TV, that could be other things. So you have to think well the videos that you put in that condition, because there are videos that are too weird to them, or maybe not, but you have to think well what kind of videos you can show. But I think if you are isolated in your video art world, and with all the people that, a few people that are interested in video art, I think maybe the FUSU as one good thing, because the environment of the video art, maybe there are people that go there because it's just stay there to relax sometime. It's not, all the people are very interested in video art, and maybe they start to like when they are, because a friend holding, but we have to maybe we have to turn pleasant to the people, to our audience, what we are showing. It is clear what I'm saying? Yeah. I think maybe there is a way in there to explore, to get some money and some support to do things, because it's more difficult to say, like, we are going to a room and do you want to give me money to make a screening of weird movies that nobody going to watch? It's more difficult, I think.
Well, I think this is more or less the last part of the conference. I would like to make the last question to the public if they want to ask. It's a pity that Irela go out of the conference, but if someone wants to ask the last question, it would be very interesting for us to try to think together why we do this, who produce this, what's the problem of this, and what do you think about festivals, art, video art, space, moving image, this kind of things. Someone want to make the last question? Si alguien quiere responder en español, estoy preguntando si no tiene alguna pregunta relacionada a festivales, espacios, producción, coordinación, precios.
No es una pregunta, pero quería un poco, al hilo de lo último que hemos salido de lo que hemos dicho. Pienso que justamente el vídeo, cuando nace para romper algunas fronteras que venían del arte tradicional, y entre ellas las disciplinas, y entre ellas el mercado instalado de esas disciplinas en el arte. Entonces, pienso que junto con esa primera idea del videoarte, también había una nueva idea de mercado y una nueva idea de que el artista podía trabajar sin producir objetos. Entonces creo que no es cuestión de volver al objeto de arte, o no es cuestión de hacer del videoarte un objeto.
He's not posing a question, it's rather a statement, because he is making a reflection on if it's really the case that video art has to become an object as it was in the traditional disciplines, or if it's really going to be like introducing video art into the market, like a new art object just in a different medium, or if it isn't the question that video art was a groundbreaking practice completely outside of the market, like as in opposition to traditional art practice.
Y ahí, junto a esta hay una nueva idea, es una nueva idea de la cultura como servicio público, que sería el otro lado de la producción de objetos, tal como el sistema capitalista quiere, es decir, objetos a los que hay que poner valor. Hay una idea de producir arte o cultura como servicio público.
And as in opposition to the traditional art object, there's like artist practice or culture as cultural service. Or like a service to the community.
Well, I think the main problem that exists in nowadays is effectively the art become with no object. For example, if we see the performance, is it possible to sell the performance? We could sell a record of the performance, but the performance itself is not possibly to be sold. What the institution could do is to pay the artist to do a performance. But the object, the performance itself, is not sellable because there are no objects. Okay, so this is in this sense, the video art came also with this problem. Not also the video art, all digital art, all art that is inside computers has this problem. Has a problem of the wide open distribution, has a problem of the internet, has a problem that came with video and Instagram and Facebook and etc. So I think that art in our days must be we must think the art in our days without the object. So I think it's my own meaning, it's my own hope that the market go away. Because market has ruined art for me. So I think that we must begin to find new ways to support the artists to do these kind of things. Because if the artist do not survive with the sale of the work, with the sale of his work, like in the past, in our days also, but we have to think the society must think in different ways to support and to help to artists to survive, because the artists who do just his work, must survive also. He's a person. He has expenses. He has a house to pay and other things like any other people. So if he doesn't sell his work, if he doesn't do a work that could be sold, he's gonna die, or else he change his own way of doing things. So the main thing is that society must found a new way to finance this kind of works that are not applicable for the market. I don't know, it's a consideration, I don't have the answers to that, but I think must be, I think the probably as artists, directors and politicians must run together in a funny way to support. Obviously, this kind of things are supported now, like budget that how an artist do a performance. He presents a project to space, and he asks to the space to do this performance. I want 1,000, 2,000 euros. No matter. And the institution pays the artist, not to refuse that, pays the artist, and this is the way that things are happening now. This is a thing. This way is the thing that happens with theater and dance and other things. Is kind of transforming performance in kind of performative art, because of the ways of presenting things are like this. But we put a problem, the ways we do things.
I think that in the afternoon we can continue speaking about this with the people of the institution, the people of the Renaissance, lawyers, collectors, and people that are not in this roundtable. They are not in the questions. They are not in the public and could help us to think about this.
Yeah, of course.
Or all together in this kind of thing.
All together.
So I invite all of you to be here at 4. We will continue with 2 roundtables. There are 2 different roundtables. The first is the first that I have told you before, that collectors, people that buy video art, people that make laws to the rights of the artists and the rights of the galleries to make this contract video art. And after, at 5:30, we will continue to speak about education, because it's a problem that we were speaking also, that the child understand more the video art than us, so it will be a problem that our education is cutting the possibility to the people to enjoy the art, because the world is getting worse and art is not important, and if the artists think the world will change and they don't want that the world change. So probably in this roundtable we can make also a thing to the possibilities of education to the people, or not education, but what we have to do. These are the questions that I invite all of you to be here after 4 to participate and to be part of us, up, down, or after in the bar. So we hope that this weekend is not going to finish yet, it's continue until tomorrow with a lot of activities, and I hope that
we will discuss a lot. We will be thinking, going to the festival, to other festival, sharing things, trying to be part of this. So thank you very much for being here, and we will see you later.